And okay, I had to do this to line up the video for the audio on this.
Okay, do you want me to do that?
No.
Oh, you're doing that.
That was me. And we're back with our next guest. With, how do you say your first name? You know how to say it.
Myrka.
Myrka? Just
Yes.
like that?
I was on the way over here. I was like, I wonder how he's gonna say my name.
I mean, it's if you see it and you speak Spanish, you're like, well, Myrka.
Yeah.
But how do most people say your name?
Most people say Myrka, or a few people call me Myrka. It doesn't really bother me, but Myrka is like the most common. Myrka Chapa.
Who gave you that name?
My mom. It's so my first name is Myrka, my middle name Celeste, and my mom got it from like some news reporters, I think. It was Myrka de Llanos and Maria Celeste Arraraz, and so she kind of like, Myrka Celeste, and put them together. That's my name.
But it's spelled that way. I mean, is that the way it's spelled? Is there another spelling for Myrka?
Myrka. That's the spelling from the lady I guess my mom saw. But I do have a friend. Her name's Myrka also, but hers is spelled Myrka.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's different spellings for it. Yeah.
Yeah. Every time I see, I saw your name, I'm like, is that a stage name?
No, it's my actual name.
Like, that's just, people use stage names.
Yeah.
My sister changed her name.
Really?
Yeah, she goes by Amala now.
Oh.
Not her legal name, but I think she actually changed it to her legal name.
Oh, cool.
But that was like her stage name because she's a singer. She lives out in Florida.
Okay. Amala?
Yeah, Amala. Amala. I forget where she got it from, but I don't know if it has something to do with her mom because her mom's name is Alma.
Okay.
And some combination of things, but she came up with that.
That's nice. I like it.
So a lot of people, go by stage names. My name would be, because my last name is Anda Verde. All right, so it's green or go green. I would, if I were like a professional singer, I'd go like Alex Green. That would be my
yeah,
stage name.
I like. I mean, I think I don't know. I don't really know a lot of people with my name, so I think it's unique enough. I've thought about that, like a stage name, but I think I just go by my first name. I like my name. Do you like your name?
Yeah, I mean it's just kind of, it's funny because Alex or Alexis is a girl's name, right?
Well, unisex, no?
Well, yeah, it's for both, but people will assume it's a girl. Like if it's over email or text or something, you say your name is Alex or Alexis, they'll always call me Miss, like in the text or email. I remember that happened to me in high school where I was auditioning for something with Mariachi, and these people had never seen me before, so they just saw my name, and I made it to this ensemble. Mm-hmm. And when they were rooming everybody, they put my name with the girls. So they roomed me with a bunch of girls because they thought I was a girl.
Oh no! You see, and when I hear the name Alexis, I don't know. I think I've known more males with that name than I have females. So I don't really think I just like think of males, I guess, when I think of Alexis. I don't know.
Me too.
I mean, yeah, because it's your name.
But we should just get into this episode. We have our next guest, Myrka Chapa, from where are you? McAllen?
I'm from San Juan, Texas. Yes.
San Juan, Texas. right next to where I grew up, because I actually spent most of my time in Alamo.
Okay.
I spent from like first grade to eighth grade, and then in high school I moved to McAllen. But so then you went to PSJ Bears.
I did, yes.
Were you in? I mean, what'd you do? Were you in music?
Yeah. So I decided to audition for mariachi like 2 weeks before my freshman year ended. I just like walked into the orchestra room. I just, and I was like, I want to be in mariachi. And she was like really freaked out because there's no auditions or anything like that. And she was like, okay, like, well, what do you do? And I was like, I mean, I just know how to sing. I don't know how to do anything else. And she's like, let me hear you, right? So she gave me a little piece of a song. She played it first and I had to like repeat it. And she was like, okay, next week we're going to have our final show. Like, you're in. I was like, oh, I'm like really excited. And so I was in mariachi, and I actually quit sports my senior year to join choir as well. So
what did you sing that concert, that very first concert?
I don't remember. I was just doing like segunda, like I was just singing backup. Actually, no, I was singing. Yeah, I did segunda for the boy that was singing at the time. I think his name was like Luis. I don't remember him. But I did segunda, and then she made me sing a chorus, but I don't remember the song. I don't remember. I had to learn it so fast.
Did you speak Spanish?
I
so your Spanish is fine.
Yes. Sí.
Sí. No, there's a lot of people, or at least in McAllen, that would go join mariachi, but they didn't know Spanish.
Yes.
And some of them would be singers. Well, how are you going to sing? But I mean, some of them learn. There are a lot of singers, like, I don't know if you know Catherine Perez. She was at Mac High.
I don't know.
She was a singer also down here. Mm-hmm. And she doesn't know any Spanish. But she sings mariachi, and she sings very well.
Well, I mean, I studied voice like in college, and I have to sing like French, Italian, and German, and I don't know. I don't know what I'm singing, but I have to do it. And so I see it too, because right now, like a few months ago, we had our concert for like the end of the semester, and I hadn't heard the mariachi from, like, I work at Creative Arts Studio, right? And I don't work with the mariachi, but I do have a few students that sing, mariachi music. And there's this one girl, and I remember when she first like started singing, or when she first tried out the class, she was with me, and she was really good, and she was really excited to sing, but she wanted to focus on mariachi. The thing is, she didn't speak any Spanish. And I heard her a few months ago in that concert, and I cried. She was so good. It was like you couldn't even tell she didn't know Spanish. It was just, I think it just depends on the person and how much they actually, study what they're performing.
No, yeah, it does. I mean, Selena didn't know Spanish.
Very true.
She still was she still is a big icon and in some mariachi and Tejano music. Mm-hmm. And so in that creative arts, is there, or what age range is that?
There's really no limit. I've had, well, because I work with creative arts, I also work on my behalf, but at creative arts, I've had students from the ages 4 all the way to 67. So there's really no age limit. It's just, a matter of, do you want to do it kind of thing? Or like, I had, the oldest student I've had, he was using it as a way of getting in touch with something that he loves. His wife was like in the hospital. She wasn't doing really good. And so he would use that as a distraction after like being with his wife, in the hospital. He'd come and, he'd sing, he'd learn a little bit, and, he'd leave happy, because music was something that he grew up with, but just never pursued, So it's just a matter of, like, do you want to do it,
Yeah, that's what people say. It's never too late.
Yes, sir.
Well, where did your musical kind of career start, or is your family pretty musical?
No. My dad had a very beautiful voice. I recently lost my dad, but he was actually one of the major reasons I really loved music. Just hearing him sing when he was just doing anything, it made me really happy. And I joined mariachi in high school because I wanted to make him happy. He ended up saying, like, ay, ¿para qué te metes en ese mugrero? And then eventually he got to a point where he's like, no, I'm very proud of you. But I started, I guess, in middle school in general. Like, I started music in middle school, and it's a weird story. I was just singing an Adele song in an abandoned gym with two other friends, and they were like, oh, you sing really nice. And I was like, doesn't everybody sing though? Like, I just thought it was like a normal thing that everybody did. They're like, no, like, there's good and bad. And I was like, no, there's not. And then I heard them sing, and I was like, okay, yeah, both of you sound different. And then from there, like, people just started finding out. And then eventually I started singing for like the school, like the district, for like meetings and stuff like that. And then in high school, I was doing like the volleyball games, and then I got into mariachi and then choir. So that's kind of where it started. It was an accident. And then my dad had, a little bit to do with it too.
Adele, what song was it? What Adele song was it?
It was Rolling in the Deep.
Does she have any other songs?
Yeah, she does. She's so good, though. I love her.
It's just that's the one everybody sings.
Yeah. Yes.
What middle school were you in? Austin Middle School?
No, I was in San Juan Middle School.
San Juan.
So the sister school.
Yeah, I grew up in Alamo, and I remember going to that middle school, and it was so weird because it used to be the high school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we would go play basketball with the team. We would play against them, and we would go in that gym, and the bleachers were up like higher, and then it's just weird. And is that the gym that?
So there's the big gym, like the dome, the one next to it, which was it had no AC. I don't know what we were doing in that gym because I think we were supposed to be in the other one, but there was like 5 of us. There was a few girls playing basketball, and then me and like 2 other friends. We were just sitting down like drawing or something. I don't know, but
well, middle school kids.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I used to do in middle school.
But what kind of music was your dad singing?
My dad, yeah, I mean, I guess it was just mariachi music. He just really, really enjoyed that, or he just make up like little songs and start singing them, and sometimes like my nephews and I like they'll sing it to me, and they're like, oh, do you remember like Willow used to sing this? And it was just like little melodies he'd come up with, or mariachi music, the oldies. That was pretty much it.
Did he play any instrument?
He didn't. I remember having a conversation with him about like if he wanted to pursue something in music. And he said when he was around my age he did, but he didn't go through with it. And he would fiddle a little bit, like play a little bit of guitar, but he doesn't really remember anything or do anything. I know my uncle, though. I just found this out like 2 weeks ago, that apparently my uncle, which is my dad's brother, like recorded some stuff, and apparently he's really good, but I've never heard him sing. And music wise, I guess it would come from my dad's family, because I do have a cousin my age that is really good at performing, but he's more like, I want to say like theatrical, which is like not really stuff I do, but it's more on my dad's side, I guess.
Oh, that's nice. You've never been in a musical then?
I have, actually.
Oh, you have?
Yes, it's just not like, I'm kind of all over the place, like I studied classical. But I was in mariachi for my freshman all the way to senior year. And I still sing every once in a while. And I mean, I teach mariachi music too. And then I sing pop. Like, I'll have gigs every now and then. So, yeah. I mean, I'm kind of all over the place.
Well, so let's see. You got into mariachi in high school, and then you stuck with it, but you never kind of picked up an instrument, or they never told you, hey, learn this?
When I was in mariachi, no. No, I think my focus, especially because it was around the time UIL was like becoming a thing, like the UIL competitions for mariachi.
Right. What year did you graduate?
17.
Do you know Kat Trevino?
Yes, I do.
She went to UT for a bit.
Yes.
And I went to Texas State. So I lived in Austin for like the last 6 years. And so I met Kat.
Yeah, she's so sweet.
I actually played with her a couple of times.
Really? Yeah, she's really sweet and she's super talented. Yeah, we were in mariachi together. That's how I knew her.
But then so you learned I guess guitar like after, or instruments?
Yeah.
After?
I guess like studying music in college was what opened me up to playing like piano and guitar and stuff like that. But
well, when you were a senior in high school, was that you were like, I'm going to study music. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I want to do.
I figured that out the summer after my junior year. I knew that was something that I wanted to do. Because I quit sports and said, I want to do choir. Like, I'm doing mariachi because I want to do it, but I'm going to do choir because I want to learn how to read music. And honestly, I didn't learn much. I didn't really learn much. And I was like, I didn't know I had to audition for the School of Music at the university. It just so happened that when I emailed them to see if I needed anything, they're like, have you auditioned yet? I was like, no, I didn't know I was supposed to audition. So I was sent music and told I had to figure out how to learn it in 2 weeks. And we're like, it was Italian and an English and I think some other language. I don't remember. I had to like figure out how to learn this music and perform it for the professors at the university to get in. It was a really bad audition, but it was so bad. But I mean, I got in. And I let them know. I was like, I'm here. Obviously, there's a lot that I need to fix, but I'm here because I really want to learn. And it was, I mean, I learned a lot of things that I didn't think I was going to do a lot about myself. Yeah, so.
So you studied voice?
I did, yeah.
At UTRGV?
Yes, I did.
And you finished?
I did, yeah. I finished in May.
Oh, this past month?
Yeah, I just graduated.
Wow, that's great. Let's see if I still remember. Nope. That one. Yeah, it was not the other one. I'm gonna play this one. All right.
It's like, oh, you graduated.
This thing's cool. So then, what was I guess your musical kind of your career? I guess in college, was there? Did you ever travel, or do any kind of productions and things while you're at UTRGV?
Yeah, I was in a few operas. I also did a musical. Well, yeah. I mean, it was a musical. They still call it an opera. I would. I usually had competitions like every semester where we had to travel. We had to go to Denton, San Antonio. I'd done competitions in other places. I don't remember, but yeah, we used to do competitions like every semester, and it would, and we consistently had to do performances or perform. Because especially me, because I was studying vocal performance, And, I decided to study music because I really wanted to learn how to read it. And I wanted to just learn as much as I could, and try to grow musically as much as I could while being there. But honestly, I'm not going to lie to you. Like, music is, there's a lot. Like, you never stop learning it. You never stop learning because there's so much. And like, when you get into theory, you're like, there's so much to learn. And so, I know this much out of, a book that would probably be like from the ceiling all the way to the floor, So I have a lot to learn, and, I'm thinking maybe I'll go back to school. I don't know. But there's a lot that I don't know. Music has opened up a lot of opportunities for me, and it's something that I don't think I'll ever get tired of learning. So, yeah.
So you went into the university not really knowing anything about theory?
I didn't. And that's why when I had my audition, because I knew that I wasn't terrible at performing. And I went in there very positive and optimistic. And, I went in with the mentality of, if this is for me, then it's going to be for me. And if I don't get in, then there's always next year or next semester where I can audition again. And it's just more time for me to prepare. And maybe if I don't get in, then maybe it's just not for me and I should look into something else. And, regardless of the fact that not that I messed up, because I got through my music. It was just, I had so little control of my air. I was so nervous. And so I was creating like really weird sounds when I was singing because I was nervous and I didn't know how to control it, especially with the classical genre. And so I told them, I was like, I have a lot to learn. I don't know how to read music, because I remember them handing me to sight read, and I was like, I don't know how to read music. And I gave it back to them. And I'm like, look, I'm literally just here because I don't know how to do this, this, and this. And I want to be better. I was like, that's why I am here. And I was like, I'm going to do everything that I can to learn what I have to learn. And they're like, okay, thank you. They just smiled. I left. And sure enough, I told my mom, I was like, I don't know if I got in. But even though it was a bad performance, they know that I was nervous and they know that I'm there to learn. And sure enough, I got an email that same, a few hours later, and they're like, you got into the performing, and they usually tell you whether you get into performance or if you get into education. And usually for performance, I think you have to be pretty good at performing, and for education, you have to know some theory. So I got into performance. So
did you choose, or was it kind of chosen for you?
I think sometimes they'll tell you, they suggest you'd be better for this, but I was going for performance. That's what I auditioned for, and that's what I got into.
Oh, so it worked out.
Yes. My terrible performance.
I mean, did they... This might sound funny, but did they make you sing Happy Birthday?
No, they didn't.
No?
No.
It's funny. Because at Texas State, I studied industrial engineering, but I minored in music.
Okay.
And I was in the music building a lot. So I know one of the things that you had to audition if you're going to do voice is you have to sing Happy Birthday.
Really?
Yeah.
But was this for voice parts for choir or something? No,
it's just into the School of Music. If you're gonna want to be in the School of Music and your instrument that you choose is voice, you have your classical pieces and your sight reading, and then they're sing Happy Birthday.
Wow, I didn't know that.
It kind of tests your oral skills, and it's a song that everybody in the world kind of knows. And
yeah, makes sense.
If you're able to sing this in tune, then that's kind of basic thing to do. Yeah,
no, it makes sense. I know the song that I had to audition with for choir, for voice parts, was the national anthem. And then the professor at the time would change the key to see like which one fit best in your voice, and then he would classify like what voice part you were best at.
I'm gonna guess you're like a soprano 1.
No, no, I'm actually a mezzo soprano. So I was put in alto 1 for choir.
Alto 1.
So I'm a mezzo soprano. I'm like the Adele, Beyonce, Lady Gaga voice type, like somewhere in there. We're all mezzos.
Somewhere in the middle. I did choir at Texas State for a bit. They put me as tenor 1. That's because I'm right in there in between it's basically a baritone.
Okay.
But they don't really have a baritone section. So they said, you're be tenor 1. And I was like, okay, I can. The thing is, choir is so. I mean, you know, there's choir and mariachi. The way you attack the notes and the way you.
There's similarities, yeah.
There is, but when you're up in that higher register, I notice it in choir a lot. They don't use their full voice, their chest or anything. It's just kind of a lot head voice. And say for like me, if we have to sing a G.
Yeah.
You're not belting out a G if you're in a choir.
Yeah.
But in mariachi, you do it. You have to belt out that G.
No, yeah. So this is within the voice department. This is a conversation we would have constantly because a lot of the students, and me included, it was so hard to separate your solo voice from, and I'm talking about just like classical in general, right? Like your solo voice from your choir voice. Because in your choir voice, you're trying to not overpower the people next to you, right? Like you're not trying to stand out. Yeah. So you're like holding in a lot of the sound that you can make. And so a lot of students that grew up with choir, you know, and join the voice department tend to usually sing pretty light because that's what they're used to, right? I was always used to like, you know, solo singing. So it was a hard adjustment when I was joining choir like my senior year in high school, because I was used to, you know, singing really loud in mariachi and like doing my own thing when I was just like singing on my own. And so trying to match everybody's volume, you're like, oh, like now I have to sing like this, right? Like, but yeah, and that applies to mariachi too, because classical and mariachi do have a lot of similarities. It's just that mariachi is, I would say, does require a lot more belting, and it's a lot very chesty, while classical music, it's a lot of like switching from like your chest to your mix to your head voice, like, you know. Yeah,
there's would you say it's more difficult going from mariachi to choir or choir to mariachi?
I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, it's just like, I think doing it for, you know, quite a while, it's just, I know when to switch some stuff off or like when to apply certain techniques and stuff like that. Doesn't mean I do it right all the time, right? I'm human. But I
mean, for like a student that grew up in choir and then they want to go to mariachi, or a student that grew up in mariachi and now they have to sing choir.
You know what? Actually, once you said that, I have the perfect example. I was thinking of a student I was giving a voice lesson to yesterday. He has no trouble with, you know, belting and showcasing like his chest voice. But when they switch to, you know, like their head voice, or when they get to that part in their voice when they have to go to mixed, they go into, oh, now I have to be quiet, right? Like, instead of just allowing the switch to happen. So I don't think it really matters whether they're switching from mariachi to choir, or like from mariachi to something soft, or something soft to mariachi. It's just like the switch within itself. Like, it's just can be difficult. And I know I had a lot of trouble with that. I remember I was doing this opera, and I was like the main singer for this like one song, and I had to belt in one part, but it was just my chest voice, and I kept doing something that my voice professor, who's classically trained, kept saying, no, that's something you do in mariachi, not like in classical. And I was like, I don't know what to do. And I literally cried on stage because he yelled at me so bad. You know, and eventually when everybody was like, just calm down, like you got it. And you had to, you know, stop for a moment, take a breather, like realize exactly what it is that what he wanted. And yeah, I made the sound. It's just, it's hard, learning when to switch or when to do certain stuff and when not to, but it's just a matter of, you know, practice.
Do you know somebody named Antonio Brisano?
Maybe.
He's a voice professor. He's older.
I don't recall.
He used to live in Brownsville. He used to teach at UTB when UTB was still a thing.
Okay.
Now he lives in San Antonio. And I actually took voice lessons with him. He's very, very good vocalist. I think he got his master's in voice.
Mm-hmm.
And with him, I worked, he had me work classical and mariachi within those same sessions. And it was so difficult. The way he kind of explained it was like when you're singing, it's like juggling 8 things at the same time.
Yeah.
As you have to worry about so many things: the shape of your mouth, where your tongue is, the vowels,
your vocal placement, the breath.
Yeah, what part, your voice, how you're singing. And yes, so it would sing a song, he's like, okay, now don't do vibrato. And that
like
was
straight
so hard.
tone?
Yeah. And it was so hard to just kind of
yeah.
do kind of, I guess, more of a straight tone classical sense, because in mariachi it's kind of wide in a way. In mariachi there's a lot of big vibrato, or a lot of kind of what's that actual word called, where you kind of forget the word for in voice, but you like you glide into your note.
Okay.
You kind of sweep it, or kind of
like slide.
Yeah, I'll say scoop, but the scooping is bad.
Yeah.
It was very different. Where he's like, just sing the note, like sing that note. Don't go into it. Don't above. Just hit the straight note. And it was hard. He made me do some things where he's like, stand right here, because he had the piano, and I'll bend over and just sing to the floor.
Yeah, I do some really weird stuff with my students too. I make my students do wall squats, like whenever they have like tension in their vocal folds, and they're always like, "Miss, what is this even for?" And then I'm like, "I will explain later. Just do it." And they'll sit there as soon as like they're about to, like before they're gonna hit a high note, and they're always like, "Why was I able to do that?" And they're like, "Oh, my legs hurt." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's used as a sort of like a distraction method." Every technique is different, but yeah, us voice teachers do some really weird stuff. I do some weird stuff. Like I make them, I've used yoga balls too, because I know my first voice teacher my first voice instructor would make me use a yoga ball and do wall squats. And so I kind of picked that up from her. And then my second voice professor would make me do other stuff. Like we'd practice like bow and arrow for alignment and stuff like that. Or not alignment, sorry, connectivity in the phrases.
Yeah, one thing they would say in mariachi was, because you're on stage, big auditorium, they're like, sing to the last row in the back over there. That's who you're singing for.
Yeah.
But with... when you were in your undergrad, and I guess even like now when you're teaching, a lot of things, because I've had kind of multiple. Antonio Brisano was the one who I studied with the most,
Yeah.
but I had other voice teachers as well.
Uh-huh.
And it's so subjective. Like, what is, I guess, the right way or the way it should be sung, the how you should approach a certain phrase or phrasing itself.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, how do you feel about that? Is there like a right way in your mind, or you're like, you tell your students this is how you should do it?
You know, there is. I'm trying to see how I can answer this the best way possible. So everyone's gonna teach it like differently, very differently, and I will say there is like right and wrong, right? Because somebody can tell you do this and it could possibly be hurting you, right? And, you know, they might be giving you the wrong techniques and stuff like that. But, you know, I'm pretty sure you studied with people that knew what they were doing. It's just that, you know, we, like I teach things that I knew worked for me when I was a voice student myself. And so I kind of try to simplify what I learned and teach that to my students. And, you know, and just because it works for one student doesn't mean it works for the other student. And so you have to try to figure out like what works for everyone, like, because everybody's different. Everybody has a different kind of voice. And so, a lot of the stuff that, I don't know, like, for example, like if you were my student, it's getting to know your voice and me helping you figure out your voice while I'm still getting to know it, you know? So I might make you do some weird stuff compared to another, you know, teacher that you've had. But it's just all about, you know, where they learned what they learned and, you know, what works for you. And I was actually having this conversation with my mom and my sister yesterday, how, you know, I can teach the same lesson to a class of students that are all the same age. And just because they're all the same age and they're all paying attention doesn't mean that they're all going to learn the same, right? Like everybody learns differently. And so it has to do a lot with the relationship between the student and the teacher. Because I'm pretty sure that you felt more comfortable with certain teachers than you did with others. I don't know if that was like ever the case.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, and so I'm pretty sure you probably learned a lot more when you felt comfortable with the teacher than when you didn't, right? And so those are things that like factor into everything. So, like I would say, yes, there is right and wrongs, but like there's a lot of little factors to it too. You know, so.
Oh, with when you're, let's say, a student comes to you that has no prior training really at all, and they have problems with matching pitch and things, but they're capable. I mean, everyone's really capable of singing. Mm-hmm. Or no, you know what? That's not the greatest point, because no, this is more for someone who's already somewhat established themselves, singing somewhat. They haven't had any prior training, but they sing regularly, and they have they do sing well. Because I've had different voice teachers, and with Brisano, I would do certain things in songs where he would get upset. It's like, stop doing that. Uh-huh. A lot in bolero style songs, because there's a lot of well, at least the way I do it is I will hold notes out sometimes a lot longer than the value. But I mean, also in mariachis, there's not really written music, or there is now, but there wasn't before. So very expressive with boleros. I'll kind of have notes longer into the next measure and mess with rhythms and things like that.
Yeah.
And he's like, do it like this, and I kept doing it the other way. So after a bit, he was like, you know what? That's the way you sing. That's how you interpret the song. That's your style. So instead of just trying to change your thing, like, to how I want it or to how I think it's right, let's just fix things that you are doing wrong, but within your own style. So sometimes I would hold a note out, but I wouldn't sustain the whole entire time. So I'd drop a little. It's like, well, if you're gonna go down, we'll do it in the key, so you can be in tune.
Yeah.
Or work on your breathing. So we would do that. So he never changed really the way I sang, just made it better.
Yeah.
And with other voice teachers, they will change the way you sing.
Uh-huh.
I've had that where I do certain things and they're like, no, change it. You're going to do it this way and you have to hold it for this amount of measures or beats. And I don't know, how do you like approach?
So I think there's two different ways. I mean, I could be wrong, but I kind of see it as two different ways of teaching. We have like the one that's more theoretical. It's like, no, you have to learn what's on the page first, and then you add your interpretation, which is how I kind of learned at the university. But I was always the kind of person that learns with expression first, and then we'll get into like a little bit of theory, like how does everything work? How can I make this better? So I have had students where I have had to be like, I want you to learn the theory behind it first so you can better understand it. And then we will add like the expressiveness and, change a few little things here and there to make it your own, right? And then with other students, which might have been the case, like, you're just like, you know what? Like, it's good within itself. Like, let's just fix what you have to fix. Or there's other cases where you're like, ay, nunca arregló nada. Like, no me hace caso, right? So you're like, no me hace caso. He's not paying attention. He's still doing it this way. Or she's still doing it this way. But I mean, it sounds good. So let me just try to fix a few little things here and there. So, there's different ways. And again, it goes back to, I think it just depends on who you're working with. And, so for me, it just depends on what student I'm working with. Like if they already have a little bit of knowledge with like theory, or they understand the theory behind like certain songs that we're doing, then I will explain a few little things here and there that they have to fix. But for the most part, I'll let them, express themselves while still applying the things that they have to, like not messing up the rhythm, making sure that they're following like the music. So, and then we have the other students that, que están haciendo lo que ellos quieren. They're doing whatever they want. It's like, no, like you're falling behind or you're doing this, and this, which is like not part of the music. And like, that they're consistently going off key. So you have to kind of stop and be like, look, this is what's happening. We have a key change right here. And then kind of when you explain those things, it's just, oh, okay. Like I get it a little bit. And so it just helps, I think, it always helps just explaining things, but within those different ways of teaching, it just depends on what the student works best with, I think.
Have you had just like naturally born singers as like students?
Oh yeah.
Are those easy to work with?
I don't want to say yes and no, because again, I'm gonna keep like saying this. It depends on the student. Like I've had some of the students approach me and it's like, but I already sing. I already know how to do this, right? Or some students are like, oh, I know I'm good and I know I have the talent, but it's understanding that like the person that is giving you the lesson is there for another perspective, like to tell you, or for the constructive criticism to tell you like what could be better, right? And so I have, thankfully, I mean, most of my students, if not all, have been very understanding that my job is to help them be the best singers that I can help them be, you know? And so when I help them fix, you know, certain stuff, they understand that it's because I'm either watching out for their vocal health, or it's just going to make the song sound a lot better or more expressive, which is what the audience, I think, really cares about, you know, the expressiveness the artist is giving, you know, because they don't care about your vocal health. You'll do something and they don't even know that you're doing it wrong, but that's for the students to know so that they, you know, they can continue singing without hurting themselves. But in regards to expression and stuff like that, that is something that I think the student needs to feel and the audience likes to see.
That, yeah, in some aspects, that emotional connection is really, I guess, what separates singers, like performers.
Yes.
Because there are many like legendary singers in all genres, and there's a lot of voice teachers be like, they have horrible technique, or their tone is bad, or their vowels, everything is just wrong, but it's just they made it their own and they connect with people.
Yeah, or they're really good performers, but it's just like they don't sound the best, but they're good at performing. And then you have people that are really good at singing, and then they don't know how to perform. And I'm not even gonna lie, like sometimes I'm one of those where I'm just like, I know I can sing this song, but I'm so scared to move because I don't want to fall. But I always get so scared to move around the stage because I always feel like I'm gonna trip or fall, and that always scares me. But I was watching a video of this girl recently, and I haven't seen or heard from her in a while, and she kind of popped up on my phone, on my For You page, and she wasn't a singer, but last I knew she was taking like voice lessons, and now she's like in a band, and she was doing so good, like performance. I mean, she was singing really good, but her performance was just like, whoa, like she did that in a matter of a few months, like was able to just put on a whole show, and people were loving it so much, you know. But you do have the other people that get, you know, that you know, can sing or, you know, semi know what they're doing, but still are scared.
The natural born leaders, the natural born leader that can sing, I think has a good shot of being famous.
Ish, and I think it's persistency too. There has to be a lot of persistency and drive, because there's a lot of people that don't sing all that well. Like, I mean, they sing well, but not all that well, and then but they're so persistent and driven, and they're able to, you know, get there a lot quicker.
I remember a few years ago, this is probably 2017, I was in Austin and doing a gig, and I was singing a song, and it's Ella by Jose Alfredo Jimenez. And Jose Alfredo, are you familiar with how he sings or how he sounds, Jose Alfredo?
Not that I recall at the moment.
But he was one of those that was very and he was just one of the greatest like composers for mariachi. But he also sang. Yeah. But his singing was not great. But very expressive and very, because he wrote all his songs, he sang, so he could connect with the people very well. And the song Ella is talking about how a guy is just fed up with this girl and is tired of begging her, and now she doesn't notice him until he's gone and it's all over.
Yeah.
So, and I sang this song, and it was for a wedding.
Yeah.
And it was at the head table. And it's just also kind of how just some people are sometimes too, where I don't know who that is. He got upset. So I started singing it, and then right away he started like saying, and this is the groom of the wedding. He was basically saying like, sing it like with emotion, like you feeling it, like he started like screaming at me.
Why? Because you were just like singing it really.
Yeah, I was, and also at that time that's also when I had like really just started singing.
Yeah.
So I didn't have that loud of a voice, and there was no showmanship.
You're like, man, I'm just trying to get through the song.
I'm here working, and then his wife was sitting there next to him. She was like hitting him, like, "Hey, stop it!
Yeah,
just let him sing." So, and then there's been other people, or people that I've played with, and they have really no technique, or sometimes they're not even on the key. They're close, or kind of off, but they just give such a big show, such a big smile, such they go into the crowds, and people love it, and people want to hear them sing. And then in my head, I'm like, but they can't sing. But it's just that connection that you make with people.
One of the things my professor had told me, and this kind of has stayed stuck with me, is giving. I think a person would much rather see somebody it's okay to mess up, like messing up every now and then, but really like embodying and enjoying the song or the music, right? Rather than somebody that is just so focused on getting everything perfect, right? Mm-hmm. Because I mean, I've had so many competitions where I mess up in the middle of the song and I just keep going. And to my surprise, like, I'll end up placing, or sometimes I don't. And that's fine, because at the end of the day, like, I was happy. I enjoyed it, And it never fails that when one actually enjoys, what they're singing, and they know what they're singing about, someone goes and compliments and, says, hey, like, it was really emotional performance, or I really enjoyed it. There was one lady one time, and it wasn't even my performance. I was helping out an accompanist at the time, and it was for his senior recital. And I was just getting through the music, but obviously like trying to enjoy it as much as possible, but I was so nervous. I get off the stage, and it was the end of the performance, and I had this lady come up to me, and she started crying, and I was like, what did I do? And she tells me, she's like, you reminded me so much of my sister. My sister used to be a singer too, and just seeing you up there enjoying yourself so much, and reminded me that my sister was so talented, and I saw her in you for a second, and it just made me cry. So I had to like turn around for a second, like wipe my little tear off. But it's always nice to hear stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, and it's one of the things, what my professor had said to me, I think it's one of the things that I 100% agree with. I would much rather see someone enjoy what they're doing, even if they mess up, rather than having somebody so in their head the entire time, focused on right.
You want to talk about your time in Tengo Talento Mucho Talento?
Oh my God, that was funny.
What year was that?
I think it was 17. Yeah, it was my senior year in high school.
Why did you do it?
Why? What was happening? So we had just finished, I think the UIL mariachi competition, and I had gotten I had gotten like outstanding mariachi performer. I don't know, an award at the UIL competition, right? And they were coming to interview from Channel 23. They were coming to interview me and a few other mariachi like instrumentalists, right? Just to talk about like our experience and stuff like that. And Tengo Talento is like 23.1, right? Or something like that. So it's like attached to the channel a little bit. So the people that were like the videographers, I guess I want to say, tells me like there's gonna be an audition at like this restaurant, right? And I'm like, for what? They're like, for this show, like it's gonna be a singing competition, like if you make it, you're gonna go to LA and all this stuff. And so I was like, I never left my house. I was like, I'm scared, I don't want to do that. And then they're like, you have nothing to lose. And I think it was the fact that he looked at me and said, you have nothing to lose. And so I was like, I mean, that's true. Like, I just go audition. It's like 10 minutes from my house. Like, if I don't like it, I can just come back, go to sleep. Or if I do make it, I'll get a free trip because everything is going to be paid for, you know, except for food. So I was like, I'll get a free experience, like in LA, see how like all of this works or whatever. And so I showed up. I had no music. I went a cappella. I didn't even know what I was doing. I was 18, so that meant that if I made it, I had to travel on my own, and I had never done that. So I'm like, mi mamá, que vaya mi mamá conmigo. But
have the audition right here. You want to see? No.
No, it's so cringe. It makes me, I don't know.
I'll just edit it right there.
No, so it was an experience. It was fun, but you also learn a lot about like how things work in music in the sense that you know what? I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it because I don't even know if I'm allowed to. I know I signed a contract. I don't want anything to like come back to me. But yeah, you just learn a lot about how like the entertainment world kind of works, and you know, it's not always like what you think it is.
Well, I mean, it's a reality show, kind of.
Yeah.
Which ironically is not reality.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I know it is. I auditioned America's Got Talent, I think 2014.
Really? How's that?
It was a long process. Yeah, and they had people like kind of are like already there, or people they invited to audition and things like that. So it was just a lot of moving around. I auditioned, and it was just for like 4 people, if they're like producers or something in a room, and that was it. They didn't call me for the next stage.
Really? I think I made it. I got a call back within 2 weeks saying like I made it, and that they had sent me like the tickets via like email. And I remember like picking up the phone like in the middle of class. The teacher didn't care because I don't know what she was doing, but she didn't care. And then I was like, I'm going to LA. And everybody looks at me, and I was like, yay. And then I was like making a big deal about it because I was just like, we had nothing to do. So we were all like, what are we going to do? So yeah, you know, I started like kind of yelling in the class. Everyone was like, congratulations. Like, what for though? And, you know, I ended up going. I remember a lot of people were like talking about it. It wasn't even like a big deal. Honestly, I don't really talk about it because I think it's so like embarrassing. I don't know why. But it was a little scary though. I think the second time that I went, because I was just, the second time I went, I was like really going by myself. The first time I met a lot of people that I like still keep in touch with now. Really awesome singers and musicians and stuff from the Valley. So the first time it was a lot of people from the Valley, you know, just kind of going. The second time though, it was a select few and we were going like at different times. So I was ultimately going by myself. There was two guys that I had been in contact with, and they were like a duo also from the Valley, but I had never met them. So we go, we end up getting there like at, I want to say 3 a.m. And we went to the Santa Monica beach because we had to like straight up go for an interview. And so they're recording me for like doing this interview, and I was by myself with like, I was like 12 guys. The beach was like empty, and I was like, por favor, que no pase nada. I was getting really scared because I had never, and they were kind of making fun of me because they were like, you're not used to like leaving, are you? Or like you used to being only stuck at home. And so that was kind of scary. And then going back to the room, I remember getting like phone calls from other like contestants, and they're like, what room are you in? I was like, why do you want to know? Like I had to like lock all my doors because it was just scary. But it was the trip in itself was an experience. So yeah, but I don't know if I would ever do that again.
Well, how far did you get?
I got the call back, did the first round, and then I got the second round. It was the one, I think, before the semifinals. Yeah.
Oh, and how did they just was because I don't really watch it, but my mom loves that show, and she watches it all the time. And how does that work? They kind of just vote you like there on stage or something, the judges? So
the two times I went, it was different, very different. Because the first round, you kind of, it's like you're auditioning for the panel, which are the famous judges. And so they get to hear you for the first time, and then they just tell you like, I think it's like 3 or 4 of them. So 3 of them have to vote you in order for you to continue to the next round. If only 2 of you vote you in and the other 2 don't, they put you in like this slime machine where the audience gets to pick if you advance or not, right? So if you don't make it, you get covered in slime, and if you make it, then you don't. So I got 4 yeses, or 3 or 4 yeses. I don't remember. Don't remember. Probably. No, I think I got 4.
That's 4, but he really didn't want to give it to you. But he gave you 4.
Yeah. Yeah. And he was just he was just being picky. But it's cool. Honestly, like everything they kind of told me, I don't remember much of the stuff that they told me, but I just took it as best as I could. I didn't really like think of it badly or anything. It was just, opinions. Everyone has different opinions, and not everybody's gonna like what you do, and that's fine.
Yeah, I mean that's where the subjective. It's judging. All judging is subjective in a way.
Yeah, and then I think the second time, it was. That's where it was a little funky because it didn't work the same for everybody. So it was a lot of us at this point. And I think they were trying to figure out who was going to make it to semifinals. I don't remember what was happening, but they put us in groups of 9. And they put me with this really good singer. I remember he was so nervous to be like going against me that he like practiced his butt off. He practiced, and I was like, why are you so nervous about me? Like, why? And he was like, it's because like you're good and I'm going up against you, whatever. And I was like, you're fine, like you're really good. The thing is, like, you can't compare because like we're very different, you know, we're very different. But he was a really good performer, aside from the fact that he was a really good singer. And I was a nervous wreck when I auditioned and performed and stuff. But yeah, they were supposed to pick 3 people from that group that advanced, and I don't know who the other 2 people were. And then they put 4 people, I think, and then they put 3, and then they put us 2 together. So I was like, why do you do that? Like, and I knew that he was gonna win because I could hear the audience like, Beto, Beto. I was like, no.
You're like, my name's not Beto.
I think you mispronounced my name.
Myrka.
Man.
But it was fun. I mean, that was right after or right at high school, right?
I was still in high school.
Oh, so
yeah. So my grades were like going down because I was constantly doing stuff. Like if it wasn't for mariachi, it was for art competitions or theater, or but it was always interfering like with my classes. I remember one of my teachers got real mad and he was like, "You need to show up, or you're done." So I had to.
You're like, but I'm on TV.
I'm like, but I'm famous. No, I'm kidding. But no, I had to actually like go back, and I think there was one week where I really had to get back to all my studies because I was disregarding that.
Were you in all those advanced classes?
Yeah. Yes, I was. I was taking college classes, actually. So my professors were the ones that were like, you know, we're not going to let you pass. You're not going to get your degree. I still passed, though. If anyone's wondering.
Well, I mean, you went to college. You faked your diploma.
Yeah.
You were valedictorian, weren't you?
No, I was not. I wish I was not, though. I was far from. I think I was like 37, something like that, from my class.
Well, PSG, how many was there? Like 400 in your class?
447, 400 something there. I was like top like 10. So that's not bad.
Yeah,
it's pretty good, I think.
It's cool. What? It was hard to be valedictorian in my school because the valedictorian my year, I was good friends with him. He had like 110 GPA.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Like to be in top 10, you had to have like at least a 102 and up.
I don't know what mine was at. I really don't know.
I had a 92 overall, and I was like 116.
That's not bad. Anyways.
No, but I never tell people I was like in the 100 something. And they're like, "Oh, that's bad," but then I'm like, "Well, it's because everything got good grades in there."
It was very competitive. It gets competitive. Like if you really, really, really care, you know, it gets competitive. It
does. And I was in all those advanced classes, but I just did not care
as much. Yeah, yes, it was. I would see some of those kids like how much they would study. I'm like, no, I want to go do my own stuff. You know, like
a lot of my friends were in the top 10, and I'm like, why are y'all trying so hard? I mean, the issue is we'd get very similar test grades, but I wouldn't do homework. I wouldn't turn it in because I wouldn't do it, so my grades would drop.
Sorry, I just like remembered something and I got so like mad for a second because I remember like sitting there, like all the top 10 we were like sitting together, and I was looking at some of those kids and I'm like, y'all copied from me. And you're like placing 10, 12, like, man, go sit in the back.
Yeah, number 2 in my class was known for cheating. Like, he was like, yeah, I cheat. Nobody really cared except for number 1, but I don't even know why he bothered him so much if he was number 1.
Yeah, I don't know.
But high school was fun.
Yeah, I liked it. It was an experience.
Did you do it again?
Nah, you know, I'm happy where I'm at. And I think I'm just excited to keep, going with new stuff. So, like, if I had to, I mean, I guess, but I'd rather just be where I'm at right now.
Do you want to sing a song? I mean, all these, we've been talking about singing the whole podcast and nobody sang a song. What do you want to sing? Do you want to play? Or you want me to play? Or?
I have really long nails, so I can't play.
Well, what do you want to sing?
Do you want me to sing something mariachi since it was supposed to be like mainly mariachi?
Yeah, I mean, what do you have in mariachi?
I haven't sang mariachi in a while. I guess I could do like, Los Laureles.
No. Yes.
Ay, qué laureles tan verdes, qué rosas tan encendidas. Si piensas abandonarme, mejor quítame la vida. Alza los ojos a verme si no estás comprometido. Eres mata de algodón que vives en el capullo. Ay, qué tristeza me da cuando te llenas de orgullo de ver a mi corazón enredado con el tuyo. Eres rosa de Castilla que solo en mayo se ve. Quisiera serte un invite, pero la verdad no sé si tienes quien te lo evite. Mejor me separaré. Por ahí va la despedida, chinita, por tus quereres. La perdición de los hombres son las benditas mujeres, y aquí se acaban cantando los versos de los laureles. I kind of just like sped through the song. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
That was for you for being able to keep up with me, just like skipping through everything.
You're like, let me do this real fast.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get through it.
No, that was really good.
Thank you.
Do you still do you practice like your own voice and on your own time and because I don't practice.
I do and don't. Like, I only practice stuff that I want to practice. Not like recently I had been told to do like gigs and stuff, and I just couldn't find the energy in me to like actually practice the music I had to practice. But when it comes to like just stuff that I want to do, I'm pretty good about taking time and just like learning technique for certain stuff if I have to. Yeah, and sometimes I have to like sit down and figure out like new ways to do new things, so that I can also like apply it with like my students and stuff. And I tell them all the time, I'm like, I'm not gonna make you do something that I don't do like in my practice. So sometimes I have to, but not that often.
Like, I have to practice.
Just not that often.
I asked a friend of mine that earlier because he was a math teacher.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you ever get up there and just not know how to do the problem? And he said that actually happened to him one time. He had a problem and he was like,
How do you math?
I'm stuck. Does anybody know how to do this? And there's always that one real smart kid who sits in the corner in the back. He's like, yeah, and he's like, yeah, there was that one kid just knew how to do it.
You know, there's always that one kid that like never studies or practices or does anything. And this like includes voice and like not voice, but like music and non-music related like subjects. They don't like have to try and they still do really good.
Yeah.
And then there's the ones that like try so hard, you know, and somehow
ones that are involved in extracurricular activities and
yeah,
student
I was
council.
like in the middle. Somewhere in the middle.
Somewhere in the middle too. But so do you? How old are you now? Are you gonna stop? So you're 22.
I'm 22. I'm about to turn 23 in a few days.
Oh, a few days.
Yeah, the September 26th. So.
Oh, 26. That is.
It's on a Sunday, I think.
Yeah, Sunday, but I was trying to remember my co-host's birthday because I think I know his is September, but I think it's 28 or something like that. So you're gonna be 23.
Yes.
Yeah.
Slow clap.
Well, so you graduated college. You're working there at Creative Arts. What do you want to do?
You know, I think I gotta go. No, I'm just kidding. No, I have gotten this question a lot. Honestly, I've received a lot of job opportunities in ever since I graduated, and I have turned them all down because I love music. I do. I love music, but school kind of killed me. I'm not gonna lie. And then it was something I was doing all the time. Like I was waking up at 8 a.m. And you know, like the past year and a half, like it's been like everything was like online, right? So I was like stuck at my desk from 8 a.m. all the way to like 12, like midnight sometimes, because I was going to school from 8 to 4:45, and then I had to log out, 15-minute break, had to go into work from 5 to 8, and then I had to study and practice like after work. So it kind of killed me, and I was like, you know, I need a little break. So I took some time off from, I would still do my own thing with music, but I took quite a bit of a break. And then during that time, like that's when my grandfather and my father passed away. And so I think it's just been about centering myself and being happy with what I do. So honestly, anything that I get to do with music, like in the long run, and it makes me happy, then I think I'm doing the right thing. But I have school in mind, continuing school, teaching at a school is also options. And continuing with maybe classical music is also an option. So I have options. I don't know. Right now it's just about being happy, you know?
Yeah, there's time.
I'm 22.
Yeah.
I'm 22. Like,
That's
have a long way to go.
That's like 16.
Hopefully. Yeah,
you
practically.
might as well be 16.
Basically.
Quinceañera last week.
Yes.
You wouldn't mind another quinceañera? How was your quinceañera?
It was it was big, but I don't remember anything. I
you're
don't.
Drunk
no, I just like, it was a lot of money for something that lasted so little. And so if I had the option of choosing whether I would have had my quinceañera or not, I would just say no. It was actually a sweet 16, but in the form of a quinceañera, because when I was 15, my sister was getting married, so there's a lot of money put into that in itself. So I had a sweet 16, but everybody thought I was turning 15.
All the gifts.
So I just went.
cake.
Yeah, I just went
quinceañera.
with it. But yeah, it was quick. Did you have one? Because some guys have them.
They do, and it's kind of popular down here. A few weeks ago, as I play the mariachi down here, we played at a quinceañera for a guy, but it was a big thing. Like it was, they rented out this big ranch, and had like this basically looked like a throne for this guy. Just a lot of people. I didn't have that.
Do you think if you had a family, you would continue that or no?
What?
Like you would, like if you had a, I don't know, boy or girl, doesn't matter. Like, would you continue the quinceañera tradition?
Yeah.
You would?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like,
You wouldn't give your daughter, what if she asked for it?
I mean, if she asks for it, I'll think about it. I think it also depends if I have like the the money for it, but I don't know if I would though, because it's like such a waste of money. It is.
Well, I mean,
it's like I'll get you a car later.
do you want a big wedding?
Do I even want to get married though? That's the question. Todavía ni llego a novio y ya me están tirando la boda. I don't know. I really don't know what I want regarding that.
I don't know. I'm 22.
And it's like I said, like you said, practically 16, right? No, I really don't know if I would want something. Maybe just, it'll probably be about something like pretty big, I think. But not that that's the way I would want it to go. It's just the way I think, like, that's how all my family does it. Like, it's not like just immediate family. They kind of, invite the extended family and stuff. So I guess I would do that. But what about you?
Nah, I'm gonna get married like on a cliff.
Just jump off if you regret it.
I want something like, it's also because I lived in Austin for so many years. Have you ever been to Austin?
Yeah.
Have you ever been to like the outskirts of Austin, more the west side, where it's like a lot of lakes and trees and
yes, I have.
a nicer area?
Yeah.
There's a lot of very nice like wedding venues out there, and that always seemed kind of nice, like out in like a wooded area.
That is
the hills.
Yeah, that is really, really nice. I really don't know what I would want, because I think that is so nice, but it's like, what if it starts raining? You know what I mean? Like, what if it starts raining?
That's the fun.
Or it's like, sí, pero está caro para like your hair and everything, so.
Your dress and all the people. Or you can just have it in your garage.
I guess. Pues sí, ¿verdad?
But then I guess, I don't know, because you asked about like quinceañera, would I have my kids? I would, but I just imagine like if I married somebody who's like white or different culture or something, and they have no idea what that is, and it would be so very different, because we've done that in Austin, where played it for a quinceañera, and this girl was just not into it at all. But it was more like the mom wanted it more than the
like
girl.
the daughter didn't. The daughter didn't.
Daughter was not into it at all, into the whole party or quinceañera. But like the parents were very excited about it. So I've seen that a lot, where it's kind of like the mom or the parents want it more than the kids.
Yeah. Yeah, for me I wanted it, but honestly, I think I was just being spoiled at the time.
Now you wish you had a car, or they would have given you a car instead.
Nah, no, because I knew there was no, it was a lot of money that I'm pretty sure my family didn't have at the time. So I think I should have been more considerate about that. But, when you're that age, you kind of don't really you just kind of like think about yourself, So, I wish, like, me now would have been like, stop being so spoiled and like appreciate what you already have, because I don't remember anything from that night.
What I always wondered, Whenever we do these quinceañera gigs, and they have like the chambelans and all their friends, do you talk to any of them?
I didn't have that.
You didn't have that?
I didn't even have the dance, like how usually the quinceañeras dance? I sang. I sang, and that's when everybody found out I could sing. Because, like, nobody knew. A few of my family members found out the year before at my sister's wedding, because my sister made me sing. And that was the first time I performed for my family. And let me tell you, that is when they started treating me different. Because I was always, like, the one that was, like, kind of tossed aside, or that's what it felt like. And from that moment on, like, wow. They were nice to me.
Oh, she's going to be famous.
Let's be nice to her. No, but they're, like, the way of interacting with me really changed. So that was interesting. And so then when I sang for my quinceañera, everybody was like, that's really interesting. Like, you sang instead of dancing. Because I can't dance. I suck at dancing.
Like, at all? No,
I mean, si me tiras una cumbia en los guapangos, yeah, I could probably dance that. But other than that,
there's this
so
guy, the mariachi I played with in Austin. He was from San Luis.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just a real, very, I don't know how to explain it, very outgoing. He does a lot of, like, albur. You know what albur is?
No.
You know albur?
No.
Albur is something that's kind of unique to Mexico, where it's a lot of innuendos,
Mm-hmm.
and you're saying things that aren't really what they mean. Just a lot of playing on words or jokes that you tell someone that just go over their head if they're not clever.
Okay.
So it's just being very clever, and he's just like that, and he's so quick-witted, basically. That's what being albur is. And he's making up lyrics to songs, like, on the spot, to songs that already have lyrics, but he'll just make stuff up on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
And so he started doing this dance, and it's just the dumbest thing ever. Every time I see him do it, it's like cumbia. It's like he'll shake his head like this. That's right. And then move his body like that. And then he's got, like, a big old beer belly, so it looks funny because he's coming at you and he's just, like, shaking and waddling. They're dancing. I just imagine him doing that.
Aw, man.
Can you do that? Can you shake your head and waddle?
I don't know.
You can dance. You can do salsa. You have to.
You have to.
Part of your culture.
Not everybody knows how. I mean, I know very little. I mean, I guess, like, I have the rhythm, like, ritmo, but
So when you performed all these times in mariachi, you never, like, danced or moved around on stage?
Yeah, we did, but it was usually when it was more like upbeat music, I wouldn't be performing by myself, but we'd always be doing like that, like moving. I would, when it was like solos, I would normally get like sadder music. So it was a lot of just like moving very slow kind of thing.
You turn your head at a very certain angle.
Yes, así, viendo la luz, así. And then I would see like people crying in the audience, like I'm doing my job.
Did you ever have like any crazy like dresses or something, or not crazy, but just like very like extravagant, or maybe even traditional with like a rebozo or something like that?
No, I mean I've only mariachi music. Honestly, I performed it more in high school, and it was always with like my uniform. But those dresses are so beautiful. I would love one day. I honestly, the way I have felt about performing mariachi has been so different to the way I perform other music. Like there's so much emotion, like when I'm actually singing or in an actual audience. It's like kind of like I can't really describe it. It's just so nice.
Yes. So do you have any, I guess, any kind of like aspirations to kind of do professional career in singing?
Yeah. I mean, that's somewhere in my plans. Maybe if it happens, but I think as long as I, keep working hard and being persistent and stuff like that, I should be good. The difficult thing for me is though, like, what do I want to sing though? Because I really enjoy from classical to pop to pop in Spanish to mariachi. Like, so when people ask me, like, what do you like performing the most? I can't say anything. I don't know, because I really don't know. It's just they all have very different feelings for me. So I don't know.
Do you remember your very first public performance?
Ish. Some people have told me that it was not my first performance, because I think my first performance was at the convention center. Because they were having like this big event where like restaurants would come and like sample food so people can kind of like know about their... I don't know what that event was called, but I was told to be part of like the entertainment. So I showed up, sang my song in front of like, I want to say like maybe like 1,000, something like that. And I was not nervous. Like, I enjoyed it so much. So I got off and I was like, I want to do this again. And then all of a sudden, like, I tell my mom, like, I'm going to do the 8th grade talent show, or like the middle school talent show. And she was like, what? You sing? And she's like, you like singing that much? And my mom tells me that I did the 8th grade competition first and then that. But from what I remember, I did the convention center first, and then I performed in the talent show. And that's like, people started being really nice to me.
It's crazy how people just see someone sing, and I don't know, I guess because most people feel they can't sing, or they're just not able to, or ever, and then they find somebody who does, and they're so attracted to them. That happened to my high school. This guy was so like... such a kind of pretty reserved guy. He played soccer for a bit. I was friends with him, and honestly, I don't even know he sang, but he did the talent show, and that year I didn't do it. I think it was a sophomore year of my junior year of high school, and he sang in Spanish. I didn't even know this guy knew Spanish, but he was... like, the way to describe his performance is very strange, because it was him singing and then this other guy playing guitar. Mm-hmm. And so he did this whole... he was kind of performing, but had a very stoic look. So he was kind of serious looking. But it was a song in Spanish, and it was very, like, sensual. And halfway through the song, he, like, took off his sweater and had like sunglasses, and then all the girls started screaming. He had like some other shirt under. No. But his face never changed. It was still like straight face.
Oh, that's so funny.
And then after that, he was telling me, because we really said we were good friends, he was like, yo, all these girls are messaging me, and I'm like, they never messaged me before.
Because it's true. I think when finding somebody that is like really good at something in like music, when they're like musically talented, I think it's kind of attractive. It just gives them like points. I don't know, like when if I ever like talk to somebody and I find out that they kind of like play a little bit or whatever, I'm like, oh, that's cute. I like that. But I don't know. So I mean, it makes sense. For me, it wasn't like no boys were like after me or anything like that. It was just like, I remember finishing the talent show. Like, I got first place. You know, people told me, they're like, I thought you were lip syncing until your voice cracked. Because it cracked in the high notes. It cracked like really bad in the high note. I just kept going. But that's when everybody like realized I was actually singing. So everybody started like clapping as soon as I messed up. So I was like, whatever. I remember though, I think that was like the end of the day. So right after the performance, like everybody was heading home. I had so many like people kind of coming up to me that I had never like seen, just like saying hi to me. The next day though, I was like, is this what being famous feels like? Because I had most of the people that talked to me that day or the day after, I had never seen in my classes. I had never, like, I don't know their names. People were like just like hugging me. I was just like doing the most random things, or just like walking to my next classroom, and I'll have like a group of like 2-3 people like come and hug me, and I'm like, who are you? And they're like, you did so good, I'm your fan. I'm like, you don't know me, I don't know who you are. But it was really funny. It was really funny to me. I remember my best friend was kind of like, she had to like take a step back. She's like, I can't with this right now. It was so funny.
So that was nothing like the previous guest I had on here, Rubencito. Y'all haven't listened to that podcast. Y'all should, because he talks about his very first performance, and it was nothing like yours. He was in 7th grade. And he's from Rio Grande City, so it's a small community, and especially mariachi is very big there. Yeah. So nobody really knew he sang, and he wasn't like great, but he could sing, and he was just starting out singing at that time. And he said the very first song he ever sang was Árboles de la Barranca. So he said he was always like kind of the class clown. Okay. In like elementary, middle school, high school, he's just like that, makes people laugh, kind of funny.
He was that kid.
He was that guy, but he was just very talented. And so he said when they were rehearsing the song in school and stuff, he would joke around in class and stuff, like raise his pants up real high and walk up to the front and sing like that. And then he said once they got to the performance and he was walking up to go sing, he said he felt so nervous because there was just a crowd of people because it was the grand opening for Walmart. Oh. So like the whole town was there. And he said he started crying because he was like so nervous, and everybody started screaming and cheering because they know who he is, because it's a small town. And then he was with it was a duet. And so he goes up, but he's already crying at this point. And he's just saying,
I'm sorry, I'm so mean, I'm laughing.
No, that's about it. Not too.
It's because I'm also thinking, like, I threw up before my performance, like literally 2 minutes before my performance. I was like, ugh. Okay, we're back. But anyways, sorry.
He started crying, and during the burst, he can't even get through it. And then so there's 3 verses, right? So then after the first verse ends, goes back to the beginning of the music, and he said he just wipes his tears on his shirt. He did the thing where he pulls his arm in the sleeve.
Oh yes,
he has big sleeves. Wiped his tears, and then his the guy who's singing the duet with, he was like, "No pasa nada," and just hits him on the back. He's like, "Let's go, let's do it," and he's like, "Okay," and he starts crying more. And then he was so like out of it, he went straight to the last verse. Yeah. And then the end of the song, and then he just went back. And then but after that, he was like, it can never be that bad again. Every performance after that, it was never that bad again.
You learn.
And now he has his own group now, and he's a very good singer now.
You know, it's the bad performances are always like the ones you learn the most from, because there's a lot. That's how you know if somebody is like meant for music or not, because I've seen people that are so good, and they perform and they let it get the best of them. Like if they mess up. And I don't know, I think that's where you get to like learn the most about yourself, you know, how, like, what could I have done and what do I have to do next to like be better than I was before. So I don't know. Yeah, I've had some bad performances too.
No, I mean, yeah, I think everybody who's taken it seriously at least has had bad performance. They always look at that one. You're like, it can't be worse than that.
Yeah.
I've forgotten words before while doing gigs, and then it happened when after I'd been doing it so many years. So I literally just I stood there and I was on a mic too because we were mic'd up.
Yeah.
And I was just smiling. And in my head, I'm like, they'll come to me. And then the music keeps playing. It just keeps playing. They're repeating the same part because I never came in. And I'm like, nope, not coming to me. So I turn. I'm like, hey, what are the words? And the guy's like, I don't know. I'm like, so I'm like, okay. Then I go to the last verse and we just end it.
That concludes my performance. No, I've had. I'm trying to think. This was a few years ago. I don't remember what year I was in, but I was in high school, and I think I was a senior. So I mean, I guess like 4 or 5 years ago. I don't know, something like that. I was asked to perform for intermission at like, it was something for the Barretts, and they were including like other stuff in there. It was not just like the Barretts, but whatever. I was told to sing for intermission, and I was doing Halo by Beyonce. I messed up the verses so bad, and this was around the time where Adele had a moment where she was like in live television, and she like didn't sound the way that she wanted to sound, so she stopped in the middle of like live and was like, we're starting again from the beginning. And I had that same moment like literally a few days after like I saw her do that, and I was like, start again. I was like, I'm in the middle of a live, like, well, not, it wasn't live. I was just like in front of an audience, right? But I had to stop because I had screwed up so bad and nobody knew I had messed up. I knew I had sang so up until the point where I couldn't fix myself anymore. I was like, I don't know what goes after this. So I stopped and started again from the beginning. And then it was good. And everybody was like, wait, did you start again? Why'd you start? I'm like, I sang till I couldn't do it anymore. Like I didn't know how to fix myself. But it was a good performance. I just had a little hiccup, you know? Forgot.
A little hiccup. I just restarted the song.
Yeah, that's just a little hiccup, you know? Yeah, I've had moments like that. There was another one where I was at it was in a FAR event. An event in FAR, I should say. And it was a singing it was a talent competition, and I was invited to like go sing, obviously because I can't do anything else.
I invited you to dance, or
yeah.
shake your head.
Anyway, so I went to go sing, right? And I forgot what I was singing, and I literally was in the mic and was like, can we start again? And they just started the song again. I ended up getting first anyway, so that was cool.
You just have no bad experiences, dude.
I do. Those are bad, but it's just like, you know, it's the way you take it, I think. Like, you know, you could just like brush it off and be like, eh. You know, like I didn't die. I wasn't gonna die or anything.
Yeah, you're like, I'll just do it again.
What I was gonna ask, what is like, this is one thing that I talk to my students about. I give a lesson on like performance anxiety, right? And one of the questions in the lesson is, what are you afraid of when it comes to performance? Like, like what are you afraid of when it comes to performance? Or what do you feel?
So with me, since I've been doing it for so many years, it's gotten to the point where if I'm gonna perform live in front of people, it's most likely gonna be a song that I already know and spent years performing.
Yeah.
So I guess what I'm scared of is not really what most students or most people would think of, but it's actually, am I gonna be able to connect with the audience or not? Because I think that's what I look at the most. Is this the way I'm gonna? Because I'm gonna interpret this song the way that I want to and the way that I feel it. And is the audience gonna be able to feel the same thing, or am I gonna be able to make them feel something from this song?
I mean, you'd be surprised. I think everybody has different answers. I've had some students just tell me, I'm scared of not looking pretty enough in front of, you know, and for us, I don't know, maybe for you, it's just like, oh, I don't care about that. Like, yeah, you know, but some people really care about like the way that they look. I mean, I think it's important, you know, to look presentable, but not to the point where I let it consume my entire performance, you know. It's just like, I mean, I try to look my best and that's it. And I've had students telling me like, I'm literally scared of dying on stage. And it's I think it's all valid because everybody has different fears when it comes to performing. And it could happen before, like performance anxiety or like just the anxiety of a performance in itself can be before, during, or after. Like I have had performance anxiety years after I had a performance. Like the stories I was telling you right now about like how I messed up, I think about that sometimes and I'm like, sheesh, that was so bad. And I'll really think about it and I'm like, why am I thinking about something that happened years ago? You know? But I mean, it happens. I think there's two things I'm scared of. And that I've mentioned it before, moving on stage. I'm scared I'm going to fall. I'm scared I'm going to fall. You know, and it's not a big deal. Like if you fall, what are you going to do? Just like get up and continue singing. It's fine. It's just,
That video, I got to show you this video. But it's Vicente Fernandez. I don't know if you've ever seen it. He was, either he was so drunk or he was just kind of disoriented where he fell off the stage, but he kept singing. Even while he was falling, and he was on the ground
singing
trying to get up and still singing.
Yeah, you see, and I think falling is like normal, right? But I'm just so scared of falling during a performance. Another thing is I get so nervous sometimes, and even when I either get nervous or really zoned out that sometimes I forget the lyrics. That's why I had to like pull. I know the song. I had to like pull out the lyrics right now because I was like, I just don't want that to happen where I forget the lyrics. And I think that's a very common one, forgetting.
Yeah.
I'm really bad at remembering stuff.
You have a bad memory?
I think I just overthink it so much. Like when it comes to music. Or singing, like I overthink it so much, so it takes like an extreme amount of me like practice time for me to really feel really comfortable with just singing a song from memory.
Do you ever feel that that intense, that extreme technical preparation for any kind of musical piece it in some way could hinder or take away from the actual performance?
Yeah. Yes. One, because if I mean, there's always going to be things that you can fix or that you could be better at. But I mean, it's specifically like focusing on voice stuff. The overusage of your voice. You're just practicing and practicing and practicing and practicing and not really like focusing on what you need to focus on. So I've told this to some of like my friends who are also singers. I had my best friend, I know she was struggling with these videos that she had to turn in, And she was telling me, she's like, I've been singing since like 11 in the morning and I don't like any of the recordings. And I told her, I was like, send me the recordings, like what's going on. And I told her, I was like, you're not focusing on the places you need to focus on. Like, stop and listen to what you need to fix instead of re-singing everything, because you're going to end up hurting yourself. She didn't listen. And, you know, it happens to me too sometimes where you don't want to just sit and like learn that one part of the song that you don't like. Right. So you keep practicing like all these other things that you already know. So you're not really learning anything. And, yeah, she ended up like hurting her voice. So she just ended up sending like whatever she could. But that's happened to me before where I don't want to take the time to sit down and just look over what I need to, and then I just end up like hurting myself. So that could happen.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta let it go. Do what you feel, and sometimes that works out, and it's even better than mindlessly preparing for something.
Yeah.
But we are close to 2 hours.
Yes.
Recording, and I think you gotta get going, right?
Yes, I have work. Yes, right now.
Okay. No, but it's been fun.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, did you think you were gonna talk for 2 hours?
Yeah, I was like, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I didn't think we were gonna. We pretty much did the 2 hours, right? I was like, I'm pretty sure we're not gonna do more than 2 hours, but I was prepared for 2.
Was there anything you want to say, anything about yourself or that you're doing or plug anything? Your lessons,
I don't know. This one's the hardest question of them all. No, I mean, not really. If you guys are like interested in, I don't know, following my media accounts, that's MYRKA CHAPA. Myrka Chapa, or more specific, like for music purposes, Myrka Chapa Music, so MYRKA Chapa Music. So I have my music Facebook page where I keep track of myself as a musician, and like I'll post like stuff that I teach and stuff like that. And then I have my Instagram page. That's pretty much all I have, Instagram and Facebook. So yeah.
Okay, there you go. Go follow Myrka,
It doesn't matter. Whatever is more comfortable for you.
Myrka Chapa. She's always going live and singing songs. So you wanna?
I don't go live, but I post stuff every now and then.
She's posting songs.
Yeah, I've been posting songs, but I had a lot of fun. Thank you for having me.
It was great. It was a lot of fun. This has been, I don't know what episode. I'm gonna play this. This is our outro music right here. I'm singing the bottom in this. My co-host Matt singing the top part.
Ah, I need to meet him.
Yeah, he's real cool. But this song's funny because we sing the Spongebob theme song at the end. Let's see if you can hear it.
It's so great. I like it.
All right. Well, see you guys next week. Bye.